Hey all, so it looks like there was a leak of job abilities on Reddit, and the full kit of abilities for Sage is on there. The leak has pictures of the job action tooltips as, I guess, the proof. They have other jobs listed as well, but since Sage is a new job and it has a lot of abilities to look at, I thought it would be fun to, look at them. It is possible that this leak is a work of fiction, so let's just keep that in mind. Also, recall that Sage will start at level 70, so they will have a bunch of abilities right out the gate. Abilities and traits! So we're going to start off by looking at the abilities and traits. There are a lot of them, so buckle in. Dosis is the name of the damage spell. It also has an interaction with another ability called Cardia. Cardia is the spell that lets you heal a target while using certain magical attacks. It looks like the Sage will have Cardia as their buff, and the target will have the buff called Cardion. Cardia has a 5-second recast, and is an instant cast, so not much hassle to change the target of the buff. Diagnosis is the name of the normal single target cure. This is pretty standard stuff. Use this when Dosis isn't quite enough. Prognosis is an AoE heal. It acts much like White Mage Medica. And Eorzea is the name of the Resurrect. Here's a fun little fact. Eorzea is a Greek word that literally means to cause to rise. Physis is an instant spell that costs no mana and acts as an AoE heal over time. Phlegma is an AoE with 2 charges. It also acts like a heal for Cardion targets. Both these spells are instant cast spells, which is pretty crazy for such a low level to have. Sage looks like it will be a lot of fun to heal as when you're in low level dungeons. Eorzea is the spell that allows you to augment Dosis, Diagnosis, and Prognosis. This is what the element on your HUD looks like to show you when you have Eorzea on. Eucrasian Dosis makes Dosis an instant cast dot. Eucrasian Diagnosis makes Diagnosis put a barrier up for 180% of the amount of HP restored. It cannot be stacked with Eucrasian Prognosis or Galvanized. Eucrasian Prognosis makes Prognosis put a barrier for 320% of HP restored. As said before, it won't stack with Eucrasian Diagnosis or Galvanize. Just as a reminder, Prognosis is an AoE and has less potency than Diagnosis. The fact that they don't stack with Galvanize makes a lot of sense, since the developers want the normal raid makeup to have a pure healer and a barrier healer. If these stacked, barrier healers may be a bit overpowered and desired. Soteria is an ability that will double the cure potency of Cardion. More DPS, more heals, I love it. Icarus is the really cool gap closer, and it allows the Sage to rush to an enemy or a party member. Upcoming abilities will use the Sage's resource, which is called Adder's Gall. So now we have to talk about the Adder's Gall gauge, which fills up automatically and gives you stacks of Adder's Gall, which you can use to cast spells. It's very similar to the White Mage Lily gauge and lilies. Also, like the White Mage Blood Lilies, there's another resource called Adder's String, which accumulates when Eucrasian Diagnosis is completely absorbed. Druishal uses Adder's Gall to cast a 600 potency heal, and it also restores MP. How very useful. Discarzia is another Sage AoE ability, but unlike Phlegma, it doesn't have a charge time on it. It also heals the Cardion target as well. Karashal costs an Adder's Gall to cast a 10% damage reduction to the party, puts up a regen, and restores 5% of your MP. Ixishal is an AoE heal that costs 1 Adder's Gall and restores 5% of the Sage's MP. So it looks like if an ability ends in Shal, it costs an Adder's Gall. Zoe doubles the amount cured by your next healing spell. What a nice cooldown. Good way to put up a nice beefy shield. Pepsis is a 15-second cooldown, instant cast ability that restores HP by removing the effects of Eucrasian Diagnosis and or Eucrasian Prognosis. Physis 2 has the added benefit of increasing the amount of HP recovered via healing magics by 10%. Toroshol costs an Adder's Gall and restores HP with a potency of 600 while reducing the damage the target takes by 10% while also restoring MP. This ability's effect cannot be stacked with Kerishol. Toxicon is an AoE damage ability that costs Adder String to cast. It also restores HP granted by Cardion. Haima is an ability that puts up a barrier around a single target. That target then gets 5 stacks of Haimation, which refreshes the barrier when it's completely consumed. If there are Haimation stacks left over after 30 seconds, the target will be healed for 150 potency per stack left. This sounds awesome. I can't wait to get my hands on this and give it a try. Riza Mata gives 1 Adder's Gall stack. This is something I feel a little slighted by, since it's something I wanted on White Mage, but it looks like they gave it to the Sage instead. Holos is a free AoE heal with a recast timer of 60 seconds. Panhaima is basically the group version of Haima, and the effects cannot be stacked with Haima. Krasis is an ability that increases the HP recovery of a target by 20%. Seems like a fun ability to stack with Physis 2. Finally, Numa is a line AoE that does damage to targets, heals nearby party members, grants a 10% damage reduction, as well as heals the Cardion target. So yeah, Numa sounds like an amazing level 90 spell that grants us so much utility on Sage. I skipped spells that were basically only potency upgrades. I didn't see much point of bringing attention to those since they didn't really change anything. As for the traits, the only ones that seemed really interesting were Enhanced Karashol adds regen to the spell, and Enhanced Zoe reduces the recast to 90 seconds. So this job looks really cool from these job actions. It also looks like it will be the most fun healing job at lower levels because of Dosis and the fact that they get 2 instant spells very early on. The developer said in the live letter that this job is challenging to learn, and if these abilities are any indication, I can see why. Lots of ways to interact with these abilities to increase healing potencies and get emergency heals off. Seems like it will take a bit of practice to get all that into muscle memory. Can't wait to try it though. So what did you think of the Sage stuff? Do you think they're real? It looks pretty real to me. Are you excited to give it a try? Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day.